Hello, you guys. Today's lesson is on the coordinate plane. This is the first lesson in Unit 3. Unit 3 is the linear relationships unit, and the coordinate plane is the first lesson in that unit. So before we get started, go ahead and take out a piece of paper and have something to write with, because as we go through this lesson, I would like you to take notes. Remember that you do need to turn those notes in to the assignment box to be able to get credit for this lesson. So it's important that you follow along in this lesson and that you take notes and then that you turn those notes in. So with that said, let's go ahead and start this lesson with the things that you need to know by the end of the lesson. So the first one is the coordinate plane. You need to know what the coordinate plane is and how we use it in math. You need to know what the x-axis is and where it is. You need to know what the y-axis is and where it is in the coordinate plane. You need to know where the x-axis and y-axis are in relationship to each other. You need to know what it means to be perpendicular. You need to be able to identify where quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4 are in the coordinate plane. You need to be able to identify where the origin is and tell me what the ordered pair of the origin is. And then you also need to be able to tell me what an ordered pair is and how we use ordered pairs in the coordinate plane system. The coordinate plane is a two-dimensional plane formed by the intersection of the horizontal number line called the x-axis and the vertical number line called the y-axis. The common intersecting point of the x and the y-axis is called the origin. The coordinate plane is basically just a map that we use in mathematics to help us to be able to identify the location of certain points. You can see that in the coordinate plane, the x-axis, the horizontal axis, intersects with the y-axis, which is this vertical line. The point where they intersect is called the origin. The coordinate plane is divided into 4 different quadrants. This is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. And sometimes in math, it's helpful to be able to identify which quadrant points are in. Okay? This coordinate plane is made up of an infinite amount of points. Okay? So there are an infinite amount of points that we could pick within this coordinate plane. One thing that I want you to notice is that as we move from the origin to the right, the numbers increase in value. As we move from the origin up, the numbers increase in value. You can see that these numbers are positive. So to the right, the numbers are positive, and moving up, the numbers are positive. As we move to the left from the origin, okay, you can see that these numbers are negative, and they decrease in value as we move to the left. As we move down, you can see that these numbers are negative, and they decrease in value. Okay, so when we are trying to figure out certain locations of points, it's important that we all follow the same system. Okay, so if we were to tell someone where something is on a map, the system that we use for doing that is north, south, east, and west. Okay. When we are trying to tell someone where a certain location is on the coordinate plane, the system that we use for that is called an ordered pair. An ordered pair is always listed the x first and then the y. Okay, so if we want to find a certain location of a point on this map, let me give you an example. Let's say we want to figure out where this fly is on this map we've been given. Okay, if we wanted to identify this location, we have to find out where it is on the x-axis and then where it is on the y-axis. And this is going to give us the address of the location of that point on the map. Okay, so we have this fly here. He's on a coordinate plane, right? So if we want to figure out where his location is, we first need to figure out how far we travel on the x-axis. Okay, so to get to the fly is right here. We start at our origin, and to get to where the fly is as far as the x-axis is concerned, we're going to have to move 2 to the left. Okay, so from here to here is 1 space, from here to here is 2 spaces. Okay, so the x-coordinate of the fly is -2. From the -2 to get to the fly, we're going to have to move up. Okay, and remember when we move up, this is our y-coordinate. Okay, this is our y-axis. And when we move up, we're finding our y-coordinate. Okay, so we have to move up 1 space, 2 space, 3 spaces. So the y-coordinate of where the fly is at is 3. This point right here, this is the address of where the fly is on the coordinate plane. Okay, we always list the x first, the coordinate of the x-axis, and then the coordinate of the y-axis, and this gives us an ordered pair of the fly's location. Any point that is in quadrant 1, to get to any point that's in quadrant 1, we are going to move to the right and up. Okay, so all of the ordered pairs of points in quadrant 1 will always have a positive x and a positive y. Okay, to get to any of the points in quadrant 2, we're going to have to move to the left, so the x-coordinate will be negative, and then we have to move up, so the y-coordinate will be positive. Okay, so any of the points in quadrant 2 here will have a negative number and then a positive number as far as the ordered pair is concerned. Any of the points in quadrant 3, to get to any of the points in this quadrant here, can you see we're going to have to move left and down? So that means our x value is going to be negative and our y value is also going to be negative. So any of the points in quadrant 3 will have a negative number and then another negative number in the ordered pair. Any of the points in quadrant 4 are going to have a positive x and a negative y, because to get to any of the points in quadrant 4, we're going to have to move to the right and down. Okay, before we leave this image, there is one more thing I wanted to talk to you about, and that is the fact that the x-axis and the y-axis, when they cross each other, it forms a 90-degree angle here. Can you see that? When they cross each other, it forms a 90-degree angle. And anytime two lines cross each other to form a 90-degree angle, we call that perpendicular. Okay, so in the coordinate plane, we would say that the x-axis and the y-axis are perpendicular to one another. In this coordinate plane, you can see we have 3 points here. We have point A, we have point B, and we have point C. Each of these have a certain location within the coordinate plane. They have a certain location on the map. So in order to find the location of each of these points, we are going to find the x-coordinate and we're going to find the y-coordinate, and that gives us an ordered pair. And remember, an ordered pair is just an address of where that point is in the coordinate plane. Okay, so if we want to find where point A is in the coordinate plane, we can start at the origin right here. Okay, and to get to point A, let's figure out how many we have to move on the x-axis. So from here to here, that's one space. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, A is 6 spaces away from the origin on the x-axis. Okay, let's figure out how we have to move to get to A on the y-axis. So from here we would move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 spaces on the y-axis. We have to move up 8 spaces. So if we move to the right 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we move up 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we see where those two intersect each other. We can see that we're right here at point A. Okay, so point A, the ordered pair of point A is to the right 6 and up 8. Let's look at point B. Okay, so we know that point A was in quadrant 1. We moved to the right and up. Remember, any points in quadrant 1 have a positive x and a positive y. Point B is in quadrant 2. And so remember, any points in quadrant 2 are going to have a negative x value and a positive y value. So to figure out the ordered pair of point B, or the address of point B, we start at the origin. We're going to have to move to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. Okay, so if we move to the left 6 spaces, that puts us right here. Oh, I need to do that a little straighter. Sorry about that. Oh, still not straight. Okay, so if we move to negative 6 on the x-axis, and then we move up, let's see, to get here, we're going to be at 2 on the y-axis. So if we travel to the left 6 and up 2, that is the location of point B. Okay, so from the origin, if we move to the left 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then up 2, that's the location of point B. Remember that we always list the x-coordinate first and then the y-coordinate. So we always move to the left or right first and then up or down. And remember that that's in alphabetical order. So you can remember you always have to move to the coordinate, the x-coordinate first and then the y-coordinate. Okay, let's go ahead and look at point C. Okay, so if we start at the origin, to get to point C, we have to move to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. And then to get to point C, we have to move down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the y-axis. And you guys can see that point C is right here in quadrant 4. And the ordered pair, or the location of point C, is to the right 4 and down 4. Okay. Remember, all of the points in quadrant 4 are going to have a positive x value and a negative y value. So one of the things you need to be able to do for this lesson is you need to be able to identify the location of a point within the coordinate plane. So hopefully you can do that after this example. Another thing that you need to be able to do for this lesson is you need to be able to take an ordered pair that you are given, and you need to be able to plot that in the coordinate plane. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice this. Let's say that you are given the point A that you need to plot at -1, 3. Okay, so remember, ordered pairs are always listed x first and then the y. We're going to start at the origin. Okay, the first number of the ordered pair tells us how many we're going to move to the right or the left. And the second number of the ordered pair tells us how many we're going to move up or down. Okay, so because the first number of this ordered pair is negative, that means we're going to move to the left. Because the second number of the ordered pair is positive, that means we're going to move to the right. And any ordered pair that has a negative x and a positive y is going to be in quadrant 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot this point. So from the origin, if we move to the left 1 and then up 3, 1, 2, 3, we're going to be right here. And this is point A. Okay, and you can see that point A lands in quadrant 2. Let's do the next one, point B. Okay, so point B, the location of point B is at -5, -2. Okay, so our x value of point B is -5. Our y value is -2. Because the first number is negative, that means we're going to move to the left. The second number is negative, so that means we're going to move down. Okay, so remember, if the number is negative, you either move to the left or down. If the number is positive, you either move to the right or up. Okay, so point B. Let's go ahead and find point B. Let's start at the origin. If there is a negative x and a negative y, we know that we are going to be in quadrant 3. Okay, so we know that this point's going to be in quadrant 3. So let's go ahead and find it. So we start here at the origin. We're going to move 5 to the left. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to move 2 down. 1, 2. Okay, so right here, this is point B. And the location of point B is -5, -2. Let's go ahead and find the location of point C. We can see that point C has a positive x coordinate, and we can see that it also has a positive y coordinate. Okay, so anytime you have a positive x coordinate and a positive y coordinate, you're going to end in quadrant 1. So from the origin, we're going to travel 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to travel up 1. And this right here is point C. Okay, and you can see that point C lands in quadrant 1. Let's go ahead and plot point D. Point D is at 5, 0. Its location is 5, 0. So the x coordinate is positive, which means we know that we're going to be either in quadrant 1 or quadrant 4. The y coordinate is 0. So that means we're not going to move up or down at all. 0 is not positive or negative. So if we're going to plot 5, 0, and we start from the origin, we know we're going to move to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we move up or down 0. So the point 5, 0 right here, point D, is a point that is on the x-axis. Okay, point D is on the x-axis. Let's go ahead and do the last one, point E. Okay, so point E is at 3, -5. So we know our x coordinate is 3. We know our y coordinate is -5. Because our x coordinate is positive, that means we know we're either going to be in quadrant 1 or 4. Because our y coordinate is negative, that means that we know we're going to be in quadrant 4. Okay, so from the origin, our first number of our ordered pair tells us how many we're going to move to the right. So we're going to move to the right 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to move to the left 5. Or down 5, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, -5 is right here, and that is point E. Okay, you guys, that is the lesson. So let's go back to the list of things that you need to know. If there was anything in this lesson that was confusing or you're not sure about, remember that you can attend class every single day, Monday through Friday from 9 to 10:30. And then we also have Math Lab Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 3 to 5. So after you've watched this lesson, if there's something you're not sure about, then please make sure that you come work with us individually. You should be coming to class anyways, okay? But if you happen to watch this lesson and you haven't been coming to class, please come. We want to see you. We want to help you. So let's go back to our list that we had in the beginning and just make sure that you understand everything that's on the list. Okay, so the coordinate plane, that is basically just a map that we use in math to help us find locations of certain points. Okay? The locations of those points, that's what an ordered pair is. The location of the origin is 0, 0. The coordinate plane is broken up into 4 different quadrants. The x and the y-axis intersect each other to form a 90-degree angle, which means that they are perpendicular. Okay. Remember that ordered pairs are always listed x first and then the y. Okay, you guys, so here are the things that you need to know. The coordinate plane is basically just a map that we use in math to help us to identify certain locations of points. The coordinate plane consists of a horizontal axis, the x-axis, that intersects a vertical axis or line, the y-axis, and when these two cross each other, they form a 90-degree angle. So we would say the x-axis and the y-axis. When those two lines cross, they form a 90-degree angle, so we would consider them perpendicular. The x-axis and the y-axis are perpendicular to each other. When the x-axis and the y-axis intersect, there are 4 different quadrants that are formed. The point where they intersect each other is called the origin. And the locations of points within the coordinate plane, we call that location, or we label it with an ordered pair. Okay, now from here, we're going to do something a little bit different than we normally do. Instead of having a quiz, you actually have an assignment for this lesson. And your assignment is to plot some points and connect them, and you're going to make a picture. I think some of you have probably done this before in math classes before this one. So we're just going to go ahead and make a Halloween picture today. So that should be really fun. Some of you will be doing this lesson after Halloween, but that's okay. You're still going to make a Halloween picture, and we're going to do that instead of a quiz. So let me go ahead and show you where you find that assignment. When you go into your course, you're going to go into your content and then your Unit 3, linear relationships, and then you're going to pick coordinate plane. Okay, so when you go into that lesson, you're going to see the video link, which I'll put the video link from today in there. And then here is your lesson. So you click on this coordinate graphing option 2, and it's going to pull up a PDF, and you are going to use that PDF to do your assignment. The PDF looks like this. So you're going to have your directions, which is to use a pencil to graph the following points on the coordinate plane. There is graph paper included in this PDF, so you can use that graph paper. The first one is done for you as far as which quadrant you can find this point in. You are going to connect the points all in a row until you see the word stop. When you see the word stop, you are going to stop connecting, and then you are going to move on to the next line or next point, and then you'll connect all of the points continuing until you see the word stop again. When you're done, this is going to, it will have graphed a picture for you, and just take a picture of it and submit it to the box. Thanks, you guys. And if you have any questions for me or Miss Kohler, you can email us, you can call us, you can text us. We're here to help you, but please get this lesson done today. Like I said, instead of a quiz, you're graphing a picture. So I will see you either in class or in the next lesson. Thanks.